Great. Thank you, Ron. Really appreciate it. I've been around the space for a bit as a subject matter expert in application security with Fortify and with focused on DevSecOps at GitLab. And now I'm focused on cloud asset management with Firefly, where we're bringing together the best elements of DevOps, SecOps, and CloudOps as the underpinnings of a well-managed cloud. Cloud complexity, it just continues to compound. And a lot of this is from single purpose tools that get added. And not only that, but then you also have the complexity of people use multiple cloud services. So single cloud providers, or the use of one single cloud provider, is really becoming scarce. The majority of people use 2 or even 3 cloud services. And each of those have their own quirks. And so it becomes a little bit chaotic to manage. At the same time, you've got, it's even more important to manage this software-defined infrastructure because hackers are discovering the fragility, the mismanagement of our tool chains, and it just becomes paramount. And so what do we do? Well, as an industry, we've thrown point solutions at it. Here's a tool to manage your cloud security. Here's one to cut cloud costs. Here's one to help you with performance. But the silos of these tools often lack context and may sub-optimize their solutions. So a security tool may remediate a cloud vulnerability in a way that disrupts cloud operations. Cloud ops might choose configuration settings that are less secure and than what policy would dictate, and so on and so forth. We really must collectively get to the root of this problem, and good cloud management practices are at the foundation. So let's look at, what does good cloud management look like? It's having visibility to all of your cloud resources across cloud providers, SaaS application configurations, containers, and more. It's using governance processes to manage changes to those resources, and with policies as code applied automatically and consistently across your entire cloud to surface issues of security, reliability, and cost, and those are often interrelated. And let's not forget disaster recovery, the ability to roll back changes and restore configurations that may get deleted, corrupted, or ransomed. I think back to on-premise infrastructure when a DDoS attack was identified by security, but the ops team was kind of clueless to why their services were being degraded, and vice versa. And the key here is really a holistic, unified view of all of the resources and their actual state. So what is stopping us from achieving this well-managed cloud? I would propose that it's the frame of reference that we use. So this Gartner article says CIOs must change their line of questioning from "is the cloud secure" to "am I using the cloud securely?" And I think this is really at the heart of things. It goes way beyond inspections and assessments. It speaks to the heart of good cloud management. And note that it's a CIO level concern. It's not just security or operations. It takes the collective practices across IT to address this. So let's look at the cloud challenges. Access is just one type of configuration that's available in the cloud, where infrastructure is determined by settings, not physical devices. And these are, there's also configurations for CPU utilizations, for storage, and more. And configurations get changed. They can be changed by operations at the cloud console, but as DevOps gets more empowered to deploy their own infrastructure, the configurations can also get changed through infrastructure as code. Security tools even have increasingly the ability to alter cloud configurations. And changes can go unnoticed if drift isn't being managed. Now, they also may not be governed with my mouth gets ahead of my tongue, with proper policies applied, because they, differ by cloud service. They may be inconsistent from one cloud service to another, and they're there is a visibility challenge. Often you don't know what you don't know. And so there could be resources that you don't know that you have. Maybe it's shadow IT. As it's easier and easier to spin up cloud infrastructure, somebody may be doing it without IT's knowledge. If you're relying on Terraform, for instance, you're only seeing what's been codified as Terraform. So what about all those unmanaged resources or ghosted resources? In those instances, what you think you have doesn't really match what's actually deployed. And there also could be unforeseen relationships where changes to one resource can affect another resource unexpectedly. All of this is ripe for misconfiguration, whether accidental or intentional. And because changes to configurations can be difficult to track, troubleshooting and auditing gets compounded as well. Gartner forecasts that through 2025, most cloud breaches will be due to misconfigurations, mistakes by end users. Coincidentally, in the 2021 State of Cloud Security found that 20% of those surveyed were not adequately monitoring their cloud for misconfigurations. So it's a little bit of a perfect storm. So how do you solve this? Well, infrastructure as code is a key enabler. It's a way to automate the management of your entire cloud infrastructure and govern access changes and quality in the same way that you would govern software application code. And by continuously comparing the actual cloud resource configurations to the desired configurations, which are reflected in your infrastructure's code, like Terraform, Pulumi, Bicep, Helm, pick your favorite flavor, you can immediately detect unplanned or ungoverned changes made to either the actual or the desired state. Often these changes are made at the cloud console. We lovingly call that ClickOps, but it's often under emergency conditions, which makes it easy to lose track of what you've actually configured. This can create issues for not only security, but reliability and cost as well. Automation is a key requirement to identify these unplanned changes at scale. The 2023 State of the IAC report revealed that drift is not getting the attention it should require. If you think about drift and misconfigurations in the same way that you think about patching operating systems and software, you'll understand that time is of the essence. When failure to patch drags on for weeks or months, your risk compounds. And in the same way, letting drift go unchecked opens you to risk as well. Our studies show that the vast majority are detecting drift manually, and that is so difficult to do. And roughly 20% can't detect it at all. So detecting drift is part of the challenge, but quickly remediating it is equally important. So I would propose that there are 5 key steps to resolving these challenges. First, you need to identify what resources you have, which are codified into IAC and which are not. This often involves manual comparisons between the Cloud Console and the IAC files. It can be really tedious and time-consuming to know what needs to be codified and where to begin. And then there's codification itself. Writing Terraform, Helm, and other infrastructure's code can be time-consuming, and the benefits tend to be a long-term play, kind of like diet and exercise. So it often gets deprioritized for more pressing needs. Third, there's the discipline of keeping your cloud up to code, keeping it aligned with the desired state. Incidents happen. Sometimes you just have to fix it quickly to get going. And just like eating cookies every day will make you gain weight. This is the January, 'tis the season, right? To be concerned about that. Many small changes to your cloud over time can result in big maintenance nightmares. Your cloud becomes more and more difficult to manage and troubleshoot, especially as you scale. A fourth item, a step here, is that IAC needs to be pursued as a means to enable developers to configure their own infrastructure so that they can move fast. It allows them to deploy infrastructure that's fast and repeatable and vetted. But how you do this is certainly important, and providing policies and guardrails that provide standards for cost, reliability, and security are an important part of this. And lastly, one challenge, that worries SREs and security teams the most is what happens if a configuration is deleted, corrupted, or even held ransom. Do you have a backup of that configuration? What if the asset's been deleted? Can you reconstitute it? Do you know its history? All of these things are important steps and efforts towards a well-managed cloud. And these are the exact things that Firefly can help with. So Firefly has a cloud asset management platform that can help you meet the challenges for a well-managed cloud. And I'm going to take one slide to explain what I mean. Firefly uses an approach that's derived from proven methods used for on-premise asset management, but architected in a way for today's cloud-native infrastructure. You need a solution like Firefly to enable teams to first rediscover their entire cloud footprint, understand what's managed and unmanaged, detect ungoverned changes, and manage the asset health using policy as code across multiple cloud services, Kubernetes, and your SaaS app configurations. The key requirements here are real-time visibility with one unified inventory, creation of infrastructure as code like Terraform, Pulumi, Helm in a way that's automated from the actual cloud assets. So not what you think they should be, but what they actually are for your existing infrastructure. And then using modules and other repeatable infrastructure as code for deploying new infrastructure, and in a way that's vetted and well planned. Continuous assessment of new resources. So after all, cloud changes continuously, too many C words together, along with detecting and remediating drift and misconfigurations. And finally, the ability to restore deleted assets and roll back configurations. These are the steps that you need in order to get to a well-managed cloud, and these are the things that Firefly can bring and do for you. By doing so, you can achieve greater efficiencies while at the same time improving your infrastructure reliability, and altogether getting a well-managed cloud that follows secure cloud practices automatically and at the speed of cloud change. Access Security, which is now part of HP Enterprise, used Firefly, and they achieved better visibility. They can understand their cloud asset relationships and better manage configuration drift. You can read more about it on our website. I've got the URL here, and I'll send the complete customer story as a follow-up to our participants today. I would encourage you to try Firefly for free. You can scan the QR code or just go to firefly.ai. Note we are not Fireflies, plural. That is a different company that's a note taker. We are singular, firefly.ai. So give it a try, and I'm open for questions.